What's up everyone, I'm Damian Reed and this is Race Department. I really wanted to thank some of you for the amazing comments on my previous videos. Thank you all for taking your time to watch my content and sharing your kind words with me. It really does mean a lot. Anyway, on to today's video. 1979 was a fantastic year for two reasons. In 1979 we had the first of two racing seasons with one of my all-time favourite cars, the BMW M1 Procar. Let me know in the comments below what cars would make your all-time favourite lists. Like most children of the 80s, I had tens of toy cars. I had them in little travel cases and I would make racetracks in my bedroom out of Lego and various other toys. One car was my absolute favourite, which would win literally every race, or on the odd occasion, when they could talk and battle each other, would always be the victor. The BMW M1 Procar. Now at this time my knowledge of cars was pretty limited. My dad worked for Peugeot and so I knew of the T116 rally car, and my mum drove a for Wago. Do you remember those? Anyway, I digress. Though my knowledge of cars was limited, there was something about the BMW M1 that I loved. It's one of those cars that looked fast even though it was standing still. That's one thing I loved about motorsport from the 70s and 80s. Cars looked fast, even if sometimes they weren't actually that fast. What I'm trying to get at is that BMW M1 Procar caught my imagination when I first started sim racing. I knew at some point I wanted to do some kind of homage to this fantastic looking car. Some of you might not know about the M1 Procar, so here's some brief information. It was a one-make racing series which lasted for 2 years. During 1979 it followed the F1 European calendar and it extended in 1980 to several other tracks, differing slightly from the F1 calendar. The series pitted racing drivers from Formula 1, the World Sports Car Championship, European touring cars and various other international racing series. This wasn't a racing series where a number of unknown drivers took part, no. We had the likes of Niki Lauda, Mario Andretti, Emerson Fittipaldi, Nelson Piquet, James Hunt and so many others. Even Tiff Needell.
What?
All cars were built identical and were based off the BMW M1 sports car, which was produced between 1978 to 1981, where BMW made a whopping 453 cars. In the 1970s and the 1980s, to adapt a road-going car for the track, there were some pretty standard things you basically did. You would fit a front spoiler, bolt on wide arches and slap on a massive rear wing. They also stripped out cars, replaced glass with plastic, fitted a roll cage and bunged on a set of wide wheels. They obviously did way more to the cars, but I'm highlighting the difference between racing cars then to racing cars now, and I'm also trying to be entertaining.
Are you not entertained?
The M1 Procar had a straight six engine that produced 470 brake horsepower at 9,000 revs, had a 5-speed gearbox straight out to the road going car and weighed just over a tonne. It could get to 62 miles per hour in 4.3 seconds, apparently could keep on accelerating to 193 miles per hour, though this was the late 70s and early 80s so many car stats were exaggerated, so take the 193 miles per hour with a pinch of salt. What is interesting about these stats though is that the BMW M1 Procar has a similar power to weight ratio of a modern day GT3 car. Thanks to sim racing, we are able to drive this car as well as many other iconic cars at our own leisure, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll be taking the M1 Procar around the Nordschleife. But what sim will I be using? The M1 Procar is available in a number of sims: Project Cars 2, AMS2, Assetto Corsa, R-Factor 2 and RaceRoom. But for today's video, I'm going to be using RaceRoom, Assetto Corsa and AMS2. Now let me stress that this is not a comparison between these sims. This is me, a sim racing enthusiast, driving one of my favourite cars in a number of sims. It will be interesting, however, to see how comparable they drive to each other. So let's get into it. Wait! At the beginning of this video, I said 1979 was a fantastic year for two reasons, and so far I've only given you one reason. So what was the other reason? Why was this such a great year, I hear you ask? Me! In 1979, this lovely face arrived on the planet, as well as the rest of me. Yes, I know it's hard to believe that this face is 42 years of our age, but yes, I am that old. Come on then, let's drive the Procar. Okay, we are at the Nordschleife in RaceRoom, and we're going to take the Procar out for a spin. No, I'm not gonna be driving it hard. Oh, it sounds amazing, but I have to turn it down a little bit so I'm not shouting. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. The sound is incredible. But we've got cold tyres, so gonna take it very, 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 very easy. Oi, 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 oi. Right, okay. It's definitely an experience that I absolutely love. This RaceRoom is a sim that not enough people play, in my opinion. Let's just forget about the M1 Procar for just a second. The quality of the cars, the stability of the servers, the mesh network that they have for the close racing is just extraordinary. The one thing that lets it down, is at the moment anyway, is just the lack of people. There's a core group of people who play in Europe, but out and about the rest of the world, there's not that many people who play RaceRoom. So, you know, if you're looking for a race in the middle of the day, you won't get a full lobby whatsoever. But if you just want to, you know, pop on in the evening, especially in Europe, and have a drive on RaceRoom in a ranked race, it'll be full. The servers will be full. And the racing is good quality as well. It's a high standard. Oh, we've got a lot of understeer. We're on the grass. We're okay. Look at those tyres. They're filthy. That's the other thing I love about RaceRoom, is that when your tyres are dirty, you know about it. And these tyres are absolutely freezing. Woo! But my God, this feels fantastic. Oh, blocked up. Yeah. It just feels so good. The sounds. The gear changing sound. The sounds when you come off throttle. I mean, they get it right so well. The sounds. I mean, the sounds are absolutely amazing in RaceRoom. I'd thoroughly recommend a good set of headphones or good speakers. I mean, really appreciate it. There's just so many little nuances of sound all over the place. It just really makes the experience very immersive. I'm making a hash of driving this, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and that's the point of this video today, is just to enjoy the M1 Procar. Oh, the sound on low throttle. And this is really enjoyable to drive as well. I mean, there is a ton of understeer. That's probably more to do with the tyres being cold, and of course this being a late 70s, early 80s race car. Tyre compounds then won't be as sticky as the tyre compound, you know, in 2021. And of course aerodynamics are not as advanced as modern day aerodynamics. This has essentially got a front splitter, wide arches and a rear wing. That's about as much thought they put into aerodynamics on the M1. But it looks like a pretty slippy car. Crikey! Understeering through there. So I'm running a standard setup. The only thing I have changed is the gear ratio, because this topped out at 160 mile an hour, and there's a lot of longer straights. But yeah, it's really good. Definitely put a smile on my face. Okay, we are in Assetto Corsa, back at the Nordschleife tourist track. Let's get on with it. Always feels so narrow, this bit, doesn't it? It sounds good. If I'm going to be critical, it's not the same as RaceRoom. Doesn't sound the same. Woo! It's a way more sketchy. Oh, blimey. Okay. Let's concentrate a little bit. Let's respect the 42-year-old race car. Every time I get into Assetto Corsa, I get blown away by just, you know, this is a sim that's how many years old? And it looks like this because of the very, 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 very talented modders out there. I mean, we're using CSP, so the car itself is a mod as well. It's definitely really, really cool. This car definitely feels like it's going to bite me in the ass at any time. It feels way more sketchy than the RaceRoom version. Yeah, there we go. Into second way too early there. Still feels good. Front end probably feels a bit tighter than in RaceRoom. Back end, I mean, there's a lot of this is probably you can get rid of with a good setup. This is completely standard. Only thing I've changed is the gear ratio. I've changed it to medium, just so we've got a bit more top gear. We've still got a little bit of understeer, nowhere near as much understeer as in RaceRoom, but again, for most of the drive in RaceRoom, it was with cold tyres. I feel like this is more savage. But definitely having to concentrate a lot more. Look at the scenery. Hate that corner. Hate that corner. Come on. I'm not talking as much probably with this because I am concentrating. I feel like I need to concentrate a lot more. I would say this is the experience. It might be more realistic, to be perfectly honest. It's not as enjoyable as it was in RaceRoom. I mean, visually, this looks better. In my opinion, anyway. I wasn't going to compare them, Damian. This is more about the overall experience. I think if you gave some time to practice with this car, it could be very rewarding. But yeah, I'm talking and driving at the same time, and I'm struggling with this car, I have to admit. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Okay, here we are in AMS2. Sounds nice. Got cold tyres. I'll tell you what, this drives amazingly. Oh, a little kick of oversteer. That was fine. Yeah, still that understeer that we've got from the other two sims. There's no denying it. AMS2 looks fantastic. Absolutely looks incredible. The main drawback for it, I suppose, for a long time is that the driving can be a bit iffy at times. Some of the cars drive really good, but they've been working on it, constantly working on this, bringing out new updates, and one of the most recent updates has actually changed the way some of the cars handle, the way the cars handle in general. And I can tell you now, there is no way I would have been able to drive this like this just before the last update. No way whatsoever. I mean, I've driven the Procar in Project Cars 2, which obviously uses the Madness engine, exactly the same as AMS2, and that is just, well, it's basically like how I drove in the Assetto Corsa, just constantly thinking that the car was going to turn around on itself. Come on, get your words out, Damian. But this, get off the grass. This is incredible. The driving experience is very similar to RaceRoom. There's that understeer. Oh, bit of curb there, a bit of grass there even. Oh, we're blocked up. Oh, we're okay. That was horrendous. Get a bit of oversteer there. I mean, I'm getting carried away a little bit. That oversteer, correcting that oversteer on AMS2, even, like I said, just before the last update, it's been very, very, very difficult. This feels so good. I have to mention the skin that I'm using. This is a custom skin, or custom livery. The link is in the description to ERRE or Factor Design, I think the name was, for the YouTube channel. It's a gorgeous looking livery. Oh, changed down gear way too early. I'm really enjoying this. Really enjoying this. Probably go second there. Whoa! Oh, nice. It's a carousel. Okay. Let's push it. Oh. Come on. Ah. It was going to happen, wasn't it? This is what I love about sim racing. You're able to drive cars that you would never have the opportunity to do so in real life. The M1 Procar was and is still one of my dream cars. I love the way it drives. I love the way you get the snap of oversteer on out of corners. I love the understeer. You have to feed the throttle. It's so rewarding to drive. However, I'm not going to be telling you which driving experience was my favourite because that's not the point of today's video. I just wanted to celebrate this fantastic car in a Fuse sim. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what type of cars you like to drive in sims, and I'll see you soon. I've been Damian Reed. Catch you later.